Tracy Laasch with the Felted Desert. Today we're going to be talking about armatures, making a wire armature. What I'm going to go over with you today is showing you how to make a basic wire armature that looks similar to this, which you can use to make a couple of different structures. One would be a similar animal like this, or possibly like a lemur like this. The difference is going to be whether you make the armature body long or short, and how long you make the legs and arms. The same structure could be used for either one. It's just about how you proportion it. So a couple of different things that you can use for the wire itself. Some people like to use pipe cleaners. I don't personally like pipe cleaners. I don't think they're strong enough to hold up a structure. I make really large structures in my artwork. As a professional artist, I have to be able to make them so that they stand up, they hold their form, and I can pose them in lots of different ways. So I personally do not like to use pipe cleaners. I do use them, but I'm going to show you how I use them in a little bit different way. So depending on how sturdy and how thick of limbs or hands that you want to make, there's a couple of different things that you can use. One of them is floral wire. And floral wire is really nice because it comes in different gauges and it is covered. So the fabric paper covering that is over the floral wire is really nice because the wool kind of binds to it and helps wrap it around and sticks to it. You can get them in this nice thicker gauge which bends and holds its shape really well, or you can do the thinner which is a little bit less. So if you're not needing a super heavy structure and you don't need it to really hold up to something, you could use one of these types of wires. I would probably use the green as it's a heavier gauge wire, but it just depends on what you're needing it for. My personal go-to wire is this here, which comes from the hardware store. It is a heavy-duty wire. It is a thin, solid electrical wire. This one's by Southwire, and you can get it at the hardware store, Home Depot. Actually, you can get it on Amazon too. It comes in white and black, and the one I use is the 14 gauge. Sometimes I use a 12, but the 12 is quite large, so you have to be doing really large projects to use the 12. The 14 is my go-to, pretty much. You have to get the solid. You cannot use the stranded wire. The stranded wire is a whole bunch of thin wires on the inside, and it will not hold its shape. The solid wire will hold any shape that you can push it into, and it is super, super strong. You can do just about anything with this. So basically what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how I put one of my little structures together, and then you can change this depending on what you're wanting it for. Like if you're wanting to do this little hippo, you're going to make the same structure here, but what you're going to do is a more elongated body and shorter legs. If you were wanting to do this little guy here, as you can see when I bend him out, he's the exact same little structure. He just now has a long body again and short legs. His legs are a little bit longer and they're just bent in a different way. And then he's obviously got the tail that's been added in here, which also has the wire so that you can bend this really nice long tail. And then his head, the neck on him is a little longer so that his head can bend up so that he can go in a different shape here. So let's get started with this. So what I normally do, you're going to want a pair of side cutters because you'll need this to cut your wire. So I usually take off a big long piece, depending on how big my animal is going to be. And I don't worry if I cut a little bit too much because I can always cut some off. You can't add, but you can always cut some off. So I'm going to take this really long piece and I'm going to fold it in half. Just like this. And what this does is this forms the head and the bottom legs. I'm going to take it and I'm going to start at the head. I'm going to cross it over and I'm going to twist it. And I'm going to twist it down. So at this point, what you need to figure out is how long your body needs to be. So if I were making this little girl, I can tell already I've got her head here and her legs start about right here. So I would stop at this point right there. And I would unfold this. Obviously I wouldn't have used this much wire to make her. And then I would cut it off here at where the legs would be, so that she would be short. However, if I was making this guy, this big lemur over here, I would keep going because obviously his legs would go down to here. So let's say we're making the big tall guy. We're just going to go down a little bit. Then at the bottom, what I'm going to do here at the bottom is I'm going to bend it out and I'm going to bend it over because I want to give him some hip bones right there. And I don't worry about the bottom of this right now because he may have feet, he may not. I may need to use this extra wire to put him in and secure him into something. So right now I'm just showing you the basics of this. You can adjust the size to whatever project that you're working on. After I do this, I go back and I cut another length, and then you, depending on what you're doing, if you don't need to pose the arms, if you just want skinny arms, maybe you're doing something that has really skinny arms and you don't need a heavy duty arm, you could use a thinner wire at this point. Maybe you use the green floral wire or you use the white wire. It's totally up to you depending on the project that you're working on. So we're going to cut another piece of wire. This is going to be the length of your arms plus enough to wrap around the body here in the middle. So then you're going to go up the length of the body and decide where you think your arms are going to be. And at this point, don't worry too much about it because all you're going to do is go through and you're going to wrap all the way around so that it twists, one twist all the way around the arms. See that? And get it nice and tight. If you need to, you can use pliers to do this. Then you can move it up and down depending on where you want it on the body. You can adjust it. Does he have no neck? Does he have a really long neck? Is he a giraffe? It just depends. All right, here's where these pipe cleaners come in for me. I start by taking one of the pipe cleaners on the body itself, and I start wrapping the pipe cleaner just below where I want these arms to go. And I secure it just like that. At this point, I can still slide it up if I need to. Then I determine where my arms need to go. All right, so I think my arms need to go about here. That looks pretty good. No, maybe a little higher because I think his neck is a little too long. Okay, I don't know what I'm making actually out of this thing yet. So let's just say I'm gonna make this lemur over here. So I'm gonna put his head about right there. At this point, what I'm gonna do with this is I'm gonna hold it at the bottom and I'm gonna take my pipe cleaner and I'm gonna go up over the top, down behind, and then back up over the top and then twist it over. And you're just gonna keep twisting up and over in the different directions. Up and over and then back up over this side. And then when you're done, you come back up and you can go up the neck to finish it off. And this will secure your arms really strong onto that body. And it also gives you a little bit of fuzz here in the middle to where you can wrap that core wool and it gives it something to bind to. Makes it really nice. So at this point I have really long arms. I can cut them to whatever length I need. If I need shorter arms, if I need longer arms, if I want to turn this into maybe a donkey or another animal where I need the head to go up. If I need the arms to go down, I can do it this way. Now I've got an animal that goes this direction. I can pinch the head in and face it forward. So this is your basic armature structure, and from here you can go in many directions. So I hope this helps you today. If you have any questions, let me know. My name's Tracy. You can reach me at thefelteddesert@gmail.com. And heartfelt thanks for watching our videos here. I hope you join us for another one. Have a great day.